This is the Handicappers Report, brought to you by the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany, and CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today.
Yo, somebody bring my mittens and my hat and it's actually the studio today, which normally feels like a refrigerator, feels like the Bahamas today after I walked in from outside. As I drove in this morning, the dashboard thermometer read -1 degree. So if you are sitting home and enjoying us, the comfort of your couch with maybe a quilt over you, God bless you. Stay that way for the rest of the day. It is cold up here in the Capital District, and because of that, cold downstate as well. Yesterday, in anticipation of the cold weather, Aqueduct canceled for this afternoon, so I'll take a look at a little Oaklawn a little bit later on. But our friend Brian Nadeau, as usual, will look at Gulfstream, and as usual, we look towards the south with envy during this time of the year. We were talking before we went on the air, and I explained the cold temperatures and a little slightly more balmy down there in Florida today.
Or Green Bay, huh? Up there in New York, yeah, it's all right down here. I won't mention that I was a little cool walking out to my car this morning. Good news down here in South Florida. The weather's been great, but we've been off the turf this week at Gulfstream. The good news is today we are on the turf course. I know that for a fact. A good turf course. Some rains earlier in the week, and took us off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but we are on today for an 11-race card, a couple stakes as well, and the countdown is on, Seth, to Pegasus World Cup Day on the 29th, and everybody is full speed ahead down here. Really looking forward to it. What is we keep saying a seismic clash between Life is Good and Knicks Go, so really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I will say, top of the hour, racing across America, they have some stakes over at Tampa, so I thought, hey, we'll talk to Ren Carruthers, the paddock commentator over there, the pre-race commentator over there, so we'll talk about some of their stakes. But I also reached out because Jason Blewett, your buddy Jeremy Plonk, announced yesterday via press release that Jason, who works with West Point Thoroughbreds Client Relations and has for a while now, is going to be doing a little handicapping for horseplayernow.com on the Buzz Report. And so I thought, well, we'd reach out to Jason and talk a little handicapping and Buzz Report, but also get some of his thoughts on West Point horses, either that have raced recently or coming up. But when I texted him yesterday, I bring it up because he said, I'm planning to go out early Saturday morning and watch some West Point horses out of Payson with Todd. And so I'll get a report on Life is Good. So hopefully at the top of the hour, we'll get an update on Life is Good. Because you're right, I can't remember a race that has had the kind of anticipation this Pegasus has had with two superstar horses, but the running style, I think, is what people are waiting for, the clash of the titans that both want the front end.
Yeah, I think Jason posted I saw on Twitter that Life is Good coming down the stretch. So you're 1,000% right, Seth. Something has to give. These are two horses with just a tremendous high cruising speed. They know one way to run, and that's fast, and that's early. And something has to give. You know, the field is still coming together. We quite frankly don't know a lot of other names. And quite frankly, I don't really know if there is a good stalker closer out there in racing that could run them down anyway. But man, it's going to be interesting because these are two horses that, I mean, quite honestly, they are hell bent to go to the front. And you know, they want to hear their feet rattle, and you know, you just kind of like you're doing, you kind of close your eyes and imagine it and think about it, and just as a handicapper, you say, well, something has to give here, something has to fall apart. So it will be interesting. I mean, as soon as these two horses were kind of announced that they're coming, I immediately said, well, who's the stalker closer in the race? Because I don't see how these two horses, you know, stick around at the end. So that remains to be seen. We'll see how it all shakes out. But man, and I'm not being the hometown guy here. I mean, it's a scintillating matchup where, you don't really, can't really come to mind a matchup where you've just kind of been waiting for it to happen, and it's going to happen on the 29th in racing. I mean, we wanted Zenyatta and Rachel Alexander. Well, it never happened. I don't know if Beholder and Songbird. I don't really think it had that, to be honest with you. So this is a horse of the year and arguably the most talented horse in training going at it at the height of their powers. So we'll just have to see what happens on the 29th. But man, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said, I don't remember a race in recent memory with this kind of anticipation, which has been kind of since the Breeders' Cup ended. You knew at that time, you knew the possibility was there, and then things started to firm up pretty shortly after that was going to be the game plan, and it's continued that way. So it's been a couple of months and now we're getting closer. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it in a couple of weeks. All right, let's jump in again. With Aqueduct being closed, I will look at Oaklawn a little bit later on, but we'll jump in now for Gulfstream. Ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it. Like I said, we've got 11. I know the main track is fast. Of course, it's a PETA, and we know they're on a good turf course today, which is very exciting. The last race, a maiden special weight, is a good one. So, yeah, we're very excited that we're going to be on the green stuff today.
And I'll go back to last week. I will tip my cap to you for predicting that pool in the Rainbow. I thought that with the mandatory on Saturday, that air went out of the balloon with somebody hitting a lone ticket on Friday, so it wasn't the kind of pool of $5 million that was maybe expected. But you said, well, the mandatory floating out there, they'll still pull $1 million in. I was skeptical, but we were sitting in here doing the handicapping show, watching the counter go up and up, and it became pretty clear, yep, this is going past $1 million, and it did. Wound up to be, I want to say the payoff was over 100,000, man. I mean, it was a decent.
It was exactly like 100,000, yeah. And thank you for the shout out too. I appreciate it because that's literally the only thing I've gotten right in the past week. It is like jump off the balcony bad. I'm 4-1 horses that were second last time and they're running 7th, beating 20 lengths. It's been an exercise in futility for me. It's been super frustrating. So. Hopefully we can turn it around. But yeah, you hear that M word, Seth, mandatory, or you hear guaranteed, and people are going to bet. And
down there, they love that bet down there.
Yeah, and we always say it in the office. We see the totals after each race, and people love Gulfstream Park, and they love to bet. And so that's been a big positive. The Rainbow, it was hit for the 3rd time in 5 racing days on Thursday. So we started anew yesterday. Yeah, 3 times in 5 days. Last Friday, the big score, then the mandatory, and then they hit it again on Thursday. So hopefully, Seth, it builds and builds, and I would think they'd like to pay it out maybe the Sunday after Pegasus. We'll see if that would be about 11 racing days. So hopefully it builds, but it's been tough. And then of course, that one single ticket last Friday for the sweeper on a huge number. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But 3 times in 5 racing days, it was hit.
Incredible. All right, let's jump in on this Saturday afternoon post time, high noon for Gulfstream today. January 15th opener is a maiden claimer, 20 to 25 tags. We're on the synthetic at 1.70 miles.
Yeah, and I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off right away in the opener. This is the best bet of the day. Number 4 Travel Guide for Jack Sisterson, who's brought I think Jack told me he's got 27 down here, and he does good work on the synthetics. He's got good stats, and in Travel Guide, he's going to take the maiden special weight drop after a couple starts to start his career at Keeneland and Churchill against, just a month better than he's facing here. Lasix, blinkers, Tyler Gaffleone, all kind of says to me it's go time today. I believe he's 4-1 on the morning line. I don't really think we're going to see that, but there are other ways to go in here. So he's the best bet of the day, number 4 Travel Guide in the opener. Down inside a little bit, Moon at Midnight for Bill Mott. Second time out, got the Tapeta, 2 turns under his belt on debut. He did have a positive flow that day. That was a race that kind of fell apart a little bit, so he was flattered. That's why a little reason I'm a little against him, at least on top today. And then number 6, Solar Tap for Mike Stidham was 6th last time for 50. Now he drops in for a quarter on the turf last time. He's got a solid Tapeta race. 2 back here for 50. So this is a drop for him too. But best bet of the day, right in the opener at noon, Travel Guide, number 1.
Race number 2 this afternoon, plain vanilla claimer, $16,000 to $20,000 tags, a quick 5.5 furlongs.
And we got the one sheet selections here. So we go 3, 7, 5, 4 for me. Restless Eyes. Mike Maker is here now in South Florida. He was in the winner's circle the other day. The barn has been, admittedly, Seth has not really done that well down here. But Mike is here, and I'm just wondering if maybe we're going to start seeing these horses cycle back around. Both the Restless Eyes, first and foremost, didn't have a fair go of it last time in a very speedy race that the flow was against him. The race stuck together, and I still thought he ran okay. He was kind of a middling 6. He's got hopefully a better scenario today. I like him on top, outside a little bit. Hanita's Empire, lightly raced, just 3 starts for Antonio Sano. Javier Castellano's been riding very, very well at the championship meet. He's kind of reaping the rewards of the injuries and such, where Irad is now going to be out for potentially 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. Tyler Gaffalione missed some time a little bit. So Javier has done a nice job down here. And he's on Hanita's Empire. Lasix goes on today. Del Rey Dolly won last time and has 2 wins. And I think that's a big deal because only one other horse in here, the 2, Madame Claude, has 2 wins. These are all 1-firsts. And I do think that's a big deal. It looked good winning last time, and she's got a little hint of a rating gear as well. 3, 7, 5, 4 to kick off the early pick 4.
Race number 3 this afternoon, maiden $16,000 claimers, again on the synthetic this time, mile and a 16th.
Chad hasn't run a lot down here, but he's got a couple wins. He won on the Tapeta earlier in the meet, and I think Conglomerate's just supposed to win today. 5 maiden special weight starts, probably going the wrong way, but now he's in for 16, and it just looks like he's found the right group, especially on this this big class drop. He's got to prove it on the Tapeta. But all those races were on turf, so I don't really worry about that too much. Now I will say this: he was pretty good, and you can see it for yourself on paper. 83, 72, 74, 75, and then a complete bomb job last time, 59. You don't know what happened. Is he going the wrong way? I still kind of think he'll have enough here. But superposition I'm going to use equally in the early pick 5 for Antonio Sano, who does a good job on the Tapeta. This horse has turf form, is in form, whereas you wonder about Conglomerate. I don't think you have to worry about superposition. So I'm going to use him equally. And then down inside Mighty Tough, just missed last time on the Tapeta for Timmy Hills, but got a really good flow that day. It was a stalker closers race. A lot of these horses come out of races that fell apart, so you can see their runs were a little bit flattered. So take note of that. A lot of them have that going for them. It's the reason superposition is the only one that does it, and that's why I put that one in second. I will, like I said, use equally, but I think Chad's in a good spot here. 5, 4, 1 for the one sheet in race 3.
Sounds good. Race number 4. We're again on the Tapeta. This is an optional claimer starter allowance. The trip, a mile and 70.
Cheryl Weinball won on the dirt yesterday with a speed horse. Going to try to do it long on the Tapeta here with 6 Poppy's Boy, 6'3" over the 7. And this horse has been in good form, has a Tapeta run, or a synthetic run, I should say. That's Polly up at Arlington, where he ran pretty well. A couple of them at Arlington, actually. And so I think that'll transfer here. And it's a pretty modest group that, are trying to find their form a little bit, and not a lot of them are proven on the surface. So Poppy's Boy on top. PH Factor, Larry Ravelli, 38% on the synthetics. He goes for Paco here, who's, as good as we have down here. Tactical speed, maybe front-running speed here. That's always a plus when Paco's aboard. And then number 7, Strike the Top off the claim for Fuentes from Bilterinos. It's going to be tough to improve, but this horse won last time on the Tapeta, first start locally and looked pretty good doing it. Does step up today and goes for a new barn But the barn is 2 for 5 off the claim. Very small sample, obviously, but Strike the Top certainly comes in good form. Let's go 6, 3, 7, and I'm going to use all 3 of them in my early pick 5.
Race number 5 this afternoon at Gulfstream Park. $25,000 to $35,000 plain vanilla claimers. We're on the turf at a mile.
And I know Chris Davis is happy we're on the turf because he had Benelux, who's my long shot play of the day, and was my long shot play of the day last time too. But he scratched out. Chris didn't want to run on the Tapeta, and this horse has form, Seth, and it might get overlooked. I think he's 12 on the morning line, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I printed out early. I don't know about that, but maybe we'll get 6 or 7 in here. It's a race there for the taking. Had a brutal post last time in the Claiming Crown race. Let's draw a line through that. You see those numbers, Seth. I mean, 83, 84, 81. This horse is very solid, and he is in with some friends today for 35. And Chris does a good job, and he spots his horses where they belong. And he's had a good meet. He's only won 2 races, but you see the 6 seconds. The horses are running. And I think Benelux is in a good spot today. Long shot play of the day. We'll see about the price. And Bolden, I mentioned Mike Maker. Here's Tyler Gaffleone as well on a trainer switch. And this horse has decent form, and you would think maybe Mike moves him up a little bit outside to the 9, Castagno, who was a good winner last time, albeit on the Tapeta for Steve Claceris. And then we'll mention Threshold, and I'll mention Freedom Matters as well. There's a lot going on here. I like the price and the value, and I like the return to a better post and the drop for Benelux. I think he fires a big shot today.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll shift gears into the Rainbow Six for Saturday. Stay tuned.
Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467 and win more with Capital OTB.
Welcome back to the Handicapper Report on this Saturday morning, a chilly Saturday morning in the Northeast. But as I always say, we watch with envy on winter days down East Coast, West Coast of Florida, Gulfstream and Tampa. And we are taking a look at a little Gulfstream with our colleague Brian Nadeau, who is in the midst of the Gulfstream card. And the 6th race kicks off the Rainbow Six for the afternoon. And it also kicks off a little stakes action. The Sunshine Classic, $75,000 up for grabs. They're going to go a mile and an eighth.
So isn't it interesting, Seth, that, Sham Rocket just exudes class. He's a legitimate stakes kind of horse on the turf. He's run 21 times in his career, and he's never run on dirt. So to me, that Pletcher guy's pretty good, too. He knows what he's doing. I don't know. It just says to me they probably not really much of a dirt horse, and they're going to run him here at 75,000. It's a stakes race. I get all of it. Don't get me wrong, but he's going to be a tremendously short price, and I just wonder if he's not going to handle this surface. So I went with Big Venezuela, 2-3 over the 1-7 for me. And we have a proven dirt horse here. He's a router. He's been in very, very good form. He hasn't missed the board in several starts, and as good as Shamrock it is, and let's just be honest, he lays over this field. He's playing Big Venezuela's game at least. So I'm just going to try to beat him at a very, very short price, because sometimes, not only do you have to handicap the horses, you kind of have to handicap what's going on around the horses. And it just says to me, after 21 starts, he's a 5-year-old son of Tonalist. He's never run on dirt. I have to believe he doesn't really handle the surface. So we'll see what happens. I'll be interested to hear what Acacia has to say, about his confirmation and things like that. But I put him in second. He's going to be a very, very short price, and he's probably going to win. He might not handle dirt and still win. But to me, there's just a couple, warning flags, and I'm going to try to beat him at a very, very short price. I'll mention Sir Ali down inside for Safi. Won his comeback last time. Now he's going to go 2 turns in 9 furlongs. He did it in very slow time, but Safi is so good. We know that. And it's second off the layoff, so maybe he improves. But I'm going to take a shot in here, Seth, to kick off this rainbow. I think we'll have it at $100,000 gross guaranteed today. Let's go Big Venezuela over Shamrock at 2-3 over the 1-7 in the Sunshine Classic.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see the final odds, because I think a lot of people are with you. But Shamrock, it just might outclass them, despite this. So it's a real puzzle. I'm going to be interested to see what the betting public does. 7th race at Gulfstream today. Mile and a 16th on the Tapeta for maiden special weight runners.
Yeah, Chad ran 1-2 on the Tapeta a few weeks back, and I think he's in a good spot to do it here again today. 3-2 over the 6 for me. I'll go Black Sand over Copacetic. Luis Saez is here, Peter Brandt, solid form. And you know what I picked this horse up? This is normally it might sound weird, but Black Sand's coming off a June layoff, and Copacetic is, just ran in October, end of October. And Chad is so good off these long layoffs, getting horses to run their best. So I think Black Sand will do that today. I put him on top over Copacetic. They're the two best horses here. Now they've got to handle the Tapeta. I get that, but they have good turf form. You would figure they would handle it. So we'll go Queen of Lies in third. Mike Stidham does such a good job. He's 1 for 34 on synthetics. So put that, handicapping nugget in your bag there. That's a big stat, 1 for 34, as good of a job as Mike does. And this is a first-time starter as well, so maybe he needs one. I think Chad's in a good spot. It's just a matter of who's going to get it done. 3-2 over the 6. Late pick 5 here as well, Seth.
Race number 8, optional claimer with a C condition. We're on the turf at 8.5 furlongs.
We are on the turf. We're on a good turf course, and that's exciting. Proven strategies, first time gelding. Mark Cassie's caught fire a little bit over the past week. Edwin Gonzalez right there with him. They're at 31% together down here at Gulfstream Park from a big sample too. They just team up. They do such a good job together. Proven strategies can be placed anywhere. He can be in front. He can be stalking. He can be behind. Going to stretch out to 2 turns in a mile and a 16th here. Stakes form. He just looks like he's in a good spot today. Absam, Maker, and Dub, the pink and yellow are on here. Didn't fire over yielding ground last time, but the Kentucky Downs race was really, really good. We'll get a better turf course today. I worry about him dropping a little too far back. You don't want to get too far back on this Gulfstream Park turf course. We go outside all the way to number 10, Vow Me Now. Paco's here. He's got plenty of speed. He might try to steal this one on the engine. And then Journeyman's got some big numbers for Steve Caceres. Was in the Cantamarcy barn up in New York. Comes down with Steve. Gets Javier. Reason to think he fires too. It's a good race, Seth. Let's go 3-6-10-4.
9th race, more optional claimers with the C condition, a mile and a 16th. Interested to see what Olympiad does coming out of the Cigar Mile. Olympiad ran second to that huge number that Baby Yoda fired up at Saratoga, and subsequently had an allowance win himself. Ran 4th in the Cigar Mile, but still lightly raced, and out of that Baby Yoda race, just interested to see what that one does. Nice race, the 9th at Gulfstream again, mile and a 16th.
Yeah, Olympiad's one of those newly turned 4-year-olds that you would like to think and hope has a big, big year for Bill Mott. He hinted at big things at 3, certainly that win at Saratoga in 2020, and then he comes back off the long layoff. The Baby Yoda race, I mean, quite honestly, I don't really believe it. Baby Yoda hasn't done anything since, but Olympiad did come back to win 2 back, and the Cigar Mile. Now, it wasn't the best renewal of the Cigar Mile. Let's just be honest. But he ran very well. He got kind of sort of thrown to the wolves a little bit, and he still ran 4th. He split the field. It was a good effort. And, he's lightly raced with a world of upside, but so is Vindictive. And they're going to clash here. And the Discovery, when Vindictive was 3rd behind Chad's Miles D, was a very, very good, fast effort. And I couldn't really split them. I just went 5-4, put the 7 in 3rd. I'm going to use them both in the late pick 5. I think they're 2 exciting horses for Hall of Fame connections that could be going places at 4, and they're going to throw down here in this optional claimer. It'll be exciting to see because both of these horses have a world of talent, and I'm sure Todd Fletcher and Bill Mott are very hopeful. They're stakes caliber horses this year. Chad's got Highest Honors, who got back on the beam last time when he was 3rd in the fast race at Keeneland behind Thomas Shelby, who's just in raging form. He'll draw a line through the muddy race 2 back, and he's got a little Jekyll and Hyde to him, though, doesn't he? Good race, bad race, good race, bad race. We'll see what we get today, but on his day, he's pretty good, too. This is a good race. We'll go 5-4 over the 7. It'll be exciting to see where Olympiad and Vindictive, how they do today, and then where they go moving forward.
Yeah, nice race in the 9th, and we lead into more stakes action in the 10th. The Sunshine Sprint, 6 furlongs for a purse of $75,000.
2-7 over the 5. And Seth, look at this field. Literally, basically every horse wants to be in front. And something's got to give. We talked about Life is Good and Knicks Go. Well, something's got to give here, too, because 6 of these 8 horses want to go early, and they want to go hard. And Pudding is going to sit back and watch it all unfold. And I like him a lot in here. 2-7 of the 5. For me, he's one of the few, very, very few horses in here with a rating here. And he's been in very, very good form, a 2nd and a 3rd with fast figures. You want to talk about a race flow, he's going to get it today. Pudding for Elizabeth Dobles and Javier Castellano on top. Legal Deal, if nothing else, has got the benefit of being outside the speed. So I put him in 2nd. He tried to wire last time. It didn't work. He did wire 2 back. He's going to be pressing from the outside, and at least that's the right spot to be because I don't see anybody inside sticking around, Seth. So I put Legal Deal in 2nd. Gatsby's got a hint of a rating gear. We'll see if Luis Saez can bring it out of him because you don't want to get caught up dueling, chasing, pressing because I think this falls apart late. He's in good form as well. That optional claimer last time would drain the clock. They flew that day 8 and 3. He ran huge. I wonder if he regresses because as grade 1 winner drained the clock. He's going eye to eye with him for essentially 6 furlongs. I wonder if he regresses today. I like putting a lot in here. The flow really suits him. 2-7 over the 5.
And we will wrap it up about 5:15 this evening. The 11th race at Gulfstream on the turf for maiden special weight runners.
If you look at this race, Seth, we got number 1, Principe d'Oro for Juddmonte Farm and Winchell Thoroughbreds, racing for Todd Fletcher. I don't know if the world's coming to an end or what, but it's just very, 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 very weird. I've never, ever, and I'm pretty positive on this, I've never seen Juddmonte Farm own a horse in partnership. Never seen Juddmonte Farm have a horse with Todd Fletcher. So I don't know what's going on with this firster by Medaglia d'Oro out of a Bernardini mare, but I would think he can run, and he's in expert hands, and Luis Saez is here, and he draws perfectly as well. So I put him on top, 1-5 over the 8. Skylander for Bill Mott. It really improved last time. It was the first time he showed any life. It was a good 2nd. It was a pretty slow race, to be honest, and he came from the back. Deep closers, ran 2-4-5 in the race. So, tread lightly there. But Skylander on 2nd, he has Lasix too. And then number 8, a little bit to the outside, Border War, a shove firster for Joe Allen, a homebred by Warfront out of a Dixie Union mare. So there's some pedigree here. Javier Castellano gets aboard. But I'm excited to see Principe d'Oro, how he runs and see what we've got in here. Just a weird weird partnership. I've never seen Juddmonte Farm with anyone, so we'll see how that works out. But 158, we are on the turf. We know that. That's exciting too.
Yeah, and that one is the number one horse, also a sibling to Spice is Nice. So that 7-2 looks like I don't know, with Pletcher and those connections, that breeding that I think is going to float down a little bit.
It's interesting because you think of Juddmonte Farm and they might be the most historic storied owners in racing, and I've never seen him partner with anyone. So obviously there's a story here or something, but we'll see how he does. $650,000 son of Medaglia d'Oro.
All right, that wraps things up for Gulfstream. And Brian, you have to run to get to Gulfstream, in fact, to do the pregame show. So we'll let you go. But we appreciate the thoughts this morning on Gulfstream Park. We wish you good luck this afternoon. And, of course, we will talk next week.
Yeah, sounds good, Seth. Stay warm back there. Good luck today with Oaklawn, and we'll do it again next week.
Sounds good. Brian Nadeau from Gulfstream, or from South Florida at this point, on his way to Gulfstream. All right, we'll take a break. Before we do, speaking of Gulfstream, I didn't say at the top of the show, I want to thank Gulfstream for their sponsorship of this program, some of the other programming and events here at Capital OTB during the championship meet. We thank Gulfstream for their support. Now we'll head to a commercial, and when we come back, Oaklawn Park. Stay tuned.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Bob. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a three-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
The Clubhouse Racebook is the Capital Region's new home for racing and sports. 25,000 square feet of Vegas-style action with live wagering on the best horse racing from around the world. 260 flat-screen televisions and state-of-the-art wagering terminals. So don't miss out. The fun is only minutes away at 711 Central Avenue, Albany, just off Exit 5 of I-90. And don't forget, if you can't make it to the Clubhouse, you can always wager online 24/7 at capitalotb.com.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Do note today at Santa Anita, mandatory pay in their Rainbow Pick 6. They're estimating the pool to approach $4 million today. So again, if you're a Rainbow player out at Santa Anita today, Cal Cup Day out on the West Coast, mandatory pay at Santa Anita on Saturday afternoon. So keep that in mind. Tomorrow at Aqueduct, there's a carryover in the Pick 6. So keep that in mind tomorrow when they we're supposed to get, I guess the snowstorm is Sunday into Monday. So we should be okay at Aqueduct actually for tomorrow. But keep that in mind. Tomorrow there's a carryover at Aqueduct. And if you weren't here for the top of the show, I'm about to jump into Oaklawn because yesterday afternoon, in anticipation of today's super cold weather, Aqueduct canceled for this afternoon, and that was due to the cold temperatures. So instead, I will take a look at the action at Oaklawn down in Arkansas for Saturday afternoon, and we kick things off at Oaklawn today. Our time at 1:30, local time at in Hot Springs it's 12:30, but our time it'll kick off at about 1:30. The opener, $10,000 non-winners to 2 lifetime conditional claimers going a mile at Oaklawn. I have a 2, 1A, 9, and 8. I put Chase Tracker on top. I'm going to draw a line through the last race. Now, was that a negative horse for a course angle? Potentially, because this horse has raced at Oaklawn before and hasn't done particularly well. So again, that's a concern. Also, claimed out of that last race, and now they cut the price in half. So there are things to kind of scratch your head about with this one, no question about it. But overall, the numbers on the page for this one kind of stack up ahead of everybody else. Overall, really just draw a line through the last race. Even some of the Oaklawn races are okay. But again, there could potentially be a little negative horse for a course angle here. So if you're looking for alternatives, of the one entry, I prefer the 1A, lightly raced. The Keeneland race back in October was what I'm kind of keying on. Other than that, we had the debut effort at Ellison and off the turfer where the horse didn't run well, a turf race at Indiana where the horse didn't run well, and a synthetic at Gulfstream where the horse didn't run well. But the lone dry track race, very good. Matches up nicely with these. So I'll put that one in the second spot, but like the top pick, there are questions to be answered there. Graves Mill Road, last seen middle of August at Canterbury. So this one has a layoff to overcome perhaps. But again, the numbers this horse typically throws are pretty good as compared to this bunch. Behaving Myself down in the fourth spot again, tosses some numbers. Oregon County coming in from Louisiana Downs. From the outside, has a lot of early speed. If this one clears, could be a little bit interesting. It's a head scratcher of a race, admittedly, given, we're at the lower level of conditional claimers and there's some inconsistency here. It's the nature of the beast at a $10,000 N2L level. But in the opener at Oaklawn for me, 2, 1A, 9, and 8. Race number 2 at Oaklawn on Saturday afternoon. We are definitely at the bottom of the, I was looking at that and I was reading that as $5,000 and it is a $50,000. So this is actually a pretty good level of conditional claimer. They are $50,000 N2Ls going 3/4 of a mile. In the second at Oaklawn, I have a 9, 7, 1, and 6. Montgomery Park on top. Had a layoff from last season at Oaklawn, last race in April until New Year's Eve. The comeback effort in a really similar race was pretty good second. If this horse comes out of that with a little fitness, absolutely a player in here. And likely, I'm looking on the morning line. Morning line is the favorite at 5-2. And I would think likely to take the action off of that and the number fired on the return effort. Hard Street came down from Woodbine from Norm McKnight to arrive at Oaklawn and try Money Allowance Company last time. Ran, a disappointing 8th, but goes from an apprentice to a journeyman jockey, goes from the Money Allowance into a conditional claimer. I think the class move is going to be key here, and Hard Street will be a player with this bunch. And then Nisi Prius, the number 1 horse. 2 starts so far, one last April at Oaklawn, breaking the maiden for a 30 tag in the career debut. Then came back at this level last time, again, on New Year's Eve, finishing behind the top pick. Top pick ran second. Montgomery Park ran second. This one ran fourth, but like the top pick, if this horse comes out of that race with a little added fitness, becomes a player this afternoon. Caught looking first off the claim for 10 Strike Racing. That one could be interesting as well. Had a layoff from May until November. Ran at Churchill Downs. Did not run well, but they claimed the horse. They come back for the same price. So I wouldn't be surprised if this horse rebounded to a better effort. So 12-1 on the morning line. Caught looking could be a player in here at some value. Second at Oaklawn, 9, 7, 1, and 6. Race number 3 at Oaklawn on Saturday afternoon. We're looking at optional claimer starter allowance types going 6 furlongs. Third race at Oaklawn, I have a 3, 1, 9, and 4. The number 3, Princess Lilybug. Another one that the number thrown last time wasn't as good as numbers further down on the page, but was a win as the favorite on the move from Indiana Grand last May to Oaklawn middle of December. So again, the number was a little bit lighter than the better numbers this horse throws, but once again, off a layup, maybe added some fitness. That race was a win as the favorite. I think it's going to fit nicely in with this bunch. Do note that race last time was against state breds, so this may be a little bit of a, in fact, I would say definitely is a saltier bunch, but I think this horse is in good form, indicated by the win last time, and has back numbers that are good enough, and I think we can get to today. Second slot, She, the number 1 horse, the plain one, and I'm just looking at the 1A. Yeah, between the two, the plain one is the preferred half, and that's the only one I used in my mix. Comes off of a nice win in a starter allowance at Keeneland at the end of October. Now comes down to Oaklawn. What are we looking at? 3 workouts at Oaklawn since arriving, and the first one, the early part of December, was a nice bullet workout. Moves from the starter allowance in for a $15,000 tag. I think if you look down the page, this horse has been bouncing in and around this type of company for much of the career or better, and typically tosses pretty good numbers as compared to this bunch. So I think this horse, like the top pick, in good form, as indicated by a win in the last start, and a good fit with this group. Girls a Bullet, the number 9 horse, also coming off a win last time. Comes off of a win at Remington Park, was claimed out of that race, picks up 7-pound apprentice, so gets a little weight break. Not only won the last race, won the race 2 back, so sitting on a little win streak in the Midwest, Canterbury, and then Remington last time. And I think, again, fits nicely with this group on a series of improving buyers as well. So for me in the third at Oaklawn, 3, 1, 9, and 4. Race number 4 this afternoon at Oaklawn Park. Optional claimer with a money condition, calendar money condition, and 6 furlongs is the distance. In the 4th at Oaklawn, I have it 3, 5, 7, and 2. I'll put American Experiment on top. Steve Asmussen has a couple in here, American Experiment and Pressure. Given an uncoupled entry with morning lines of 9 to 5 and 10 to 1, I would not ignore Pressure at the 10 to 1 price. I put that one down at the bottom of my mix. But American Experiment, the debut up at Saratoga was really good. Now, it was on a muddy sealed track. The follow-up at Del Mar, not quite as good, but went from a $100,000 purse maiden special win at Saratoga by 5 lengths with an 80 buyer, which, end of July for a 2-year-old, that's a pretty solid number. Went from that one to the Del Mar Futurity on September 6th and ran 3rd, and that's a pretty, that's a class leap, maiden special to a grade 1. So the 3rd, the buyer went backwards, the finishing position went backwards, but given the scenario, that wasn't a bad effort. Now comes back as a 3-year-old, gets Lasix this afternoon, and I'm kind of keying, obviously, as I think a lot of the bettors will, on that debut effort up at Saratoga, and we'll look to rebound to that kind of an effort. Magnolia Midnight goes out for our friends at West Point Thoroughbreds. Dallas Stewart trains, and I said Dallas Stewart put together a pretty nice 2021. We'll see how 2022 works out for Dallas, but this one arrived at Oaklawn and raced on December 17th, ran 3rd. I think with the experience under the belt and just looking at the complexion of the rest of this field, Magnolia Midnight, an interesting player in here, and back to normal in the 3rd spot. Comes out of a win, maiden breaker on the move from Churchill to Oaklawn last time for Mike Maker, Ricardo Santana on board. And there are a couple of numbers over the last 3 starts that'll match up really well with this bunch. I think it's a fun bunch in here of 3-year-olds, some of which may go on to be interesting in 3-year-old stakes of one kind or another this year. But in the 4th at Oaklawn, 3, 5, 7, and 2. Race number 5 at Oaklawn on Saturday afternoon. Maiden $50,000 claimers. These are maiden 3-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs. I have a 10, 11, 8, and 12. Stuck on the outside with my picks here, but Argumental goes maiden special weight to maiden claiming, moves into the Mike Maker barn. The debut effort at Churchill wasn't much, but the number was good enough to think if this horse benefits from that, benefits from the class move, and moves forward just a few points, it is going to fit very well with this bunch. So Argumental on top. By Not This Time as well. That was a little bit intriguing on the breeding side. Race day attire, 3 starts so far. improvement start 1 to start 2 to start 3. Start 3 was the best of all, and that was the move to Oaklawn and the move into this $50,000 maiden level. So with that one to kind of key on race day attire seems like a logical player. And then Fighting Temptation in the third spot. A couple of starts at Remington so far for Brett Calhoun. Now, they were Oklahoma-bred maiden special weight races, but I think is going to fit nicely with this maiden 50 bunch. And the first two were okay. And there was a little improvement shown start 1 to start 2. Again, that continues into start number 3, a snug fit with this crew this afternoon. I think it's a competitive race, but in the 5th at Oaklawn, I went 10, 11, 8, and 12. That'll take us to our final break of the hour. We'll come back and we will complete our look at Saturday afternoon Oaklawn, so stay tuned.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the Capital Region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Welcome back to the Handicapper Report on this Saturday morning. Let's dive back into Oaklawn. And again, I'm looking at Oaklawn because if you weren't tuned in earlier, Aqueduct actually canceled yesterday in anticipation of the very cold temperatures today. So Aqueduct not racing. And so I'm focused on Oaklawn. We'll jump back in with race number 6. Kicks off a late pick 4 down at Oaklawn. These are conditional claimers going 3/4 of a mile. In the 6th, I have it 5-9, 3 and 1, out of sight in the top spot. Hasn't been seen since last February, so we're 11 months on the sidelines for the Brad Cox runner. But this horse showed a little oomph early in the career. Won in the 3rd career start at Oaklawn just about a year ago. Follow-up in optional claiming company was a real dud. Now has been on the sidelines since. So it's one of those that, But given what we saw earlier, Brad Cox, they drop down the claiming ladder now. And so, again, you can kind of go either way, but there's a couple of workouts underneath that seem to indicate the horse is on his toes. So I'll tilt in that direction. But again, given that this horse did show some early promise, tossed a dud when last seen, that was a year ago. They come back for a tag. You can take a shot against if you're playing that late pick 4. And Road Bible is maybe a little bit interesting for Federico Villafranco. Comes in from Remington Park and moves into the Villafranco barn. A better effort by this horse matches up really nicely with the rest of this bunch. A better effort by Out of Sight clearly gives that one the edge. But then the field is kind of evenly matched. And so I'll tilt towards World Bible. Ricardo Santana on board. Second off the claim, gets back in for a tag. Let's look for that one to be live in here. Ernie Banker in the 3rd spot. Comes down from New York for Carl Broberg. They claimed this horse up at Belmont in October. They tried a December race at Aqueduct and ran a close-up second. I think is going to fit nicely with this bunch in Arkansas. Windcracker is playable at 10-1 on the morning line. There are back numbers that are clearly good enough. Has tried some money allowance races here at Oaklawn in the past, too. I think the class relief will put that horse in the thick of things as well. So I like Out of Sight on top. I don't love Out of Sight on top because of the question marks. So there are some alternatives in here. if you want to use them to kick off your late pick four at Oaklawn. 5-9, 3-1. Seventh race at Oaklawn on Saturday. Maiden special 3-year-olds going 1 mile. I have a 10, 2, 6, and 12. I'll put Blue Norther on top. Brad Cox trainee at Churchill in the debut. Ran okay. Ran 6th in the field at 12, so kind of split the field. Looks like a race that'll provide a good foundation to move forward from. And I think it's going to be a good fit with this bunch. Brad Cox runners often do very well and improve in their second start. So Blue Norther on top. Kupuna, the number 2 horse for Brett Calhoun. Nice improvement, start 1 to start 2 at Churchill. And I've said a number of times, I think that late fall Churchill meet on the 2-year-old scene can be very potent. So the 2 nice efforts, the 2 nice improving efforts stand out. But then you have a 46 and change bullet work just about 10 days ago down at Oaklawn that I think says this one is going to be live. So the I would think that this horse will go off favorite. I would have to think. I think that workout particularly will jump out at people. Skate to Heaven also coming in off a nice bullet workout. This one just last week for Robertino Diodoro. Debuted up at Saratoga. Debut was a little bit of a dud, but I say it, and had some trouble though. But I say it often. Lightly raced 2-year-olds or lightly raced 3-year-olds, they get a little bit of a break, and sometimes they can come back as improved runners. I wouldn't be surprised to see Skate to Heaven be one of those kind of runners and run a much improved effort this afternoon. In the 7th at Oaklawn, 10, 2, 6, and 12. Race number 8, stakes action down in Arkansas. The 5th season, $150,000 up for grabs for the 4-year-olds and up, going 1 mile at Oaklawn. In the 8th, I have it 9, 8, 5, and 1. Mucho on top. Talented runner, 7 wins and 29 career starts so far. A stakes winner. Last time out, tried Allowance Company here at Oaklawn. Got his feet wet again for the season with a nice win in that allowance condition. 3 starts at Oaklawn, a couple of wins, including that win last time. It was done with a Beyer that matches up nicely with this, although on the Beyer side, the whole field is pretty competitive. But I think this one, off of that win last time, may be set up to run well. Second spot, Silver Prospector for Steve Asmussen. This is a very nice stakes runner for Asmussen, over $950,000 in the bank. So this horse is approaching millionaire status as a 5-year-old. Has run well at Oaklawn before. Knock on this one, hasn't been seen since May, but has been working down at the fairgrounds and has been working very well. Seems primed for the return. And then Concert Tour started the career in the barn of Bob Baffert for Gary and Mary West. Hasn't been seen since trying the Preakness and tossing in a dud. Before that, 3rd as the chalk in the Arkansas Derby, and before that had won the Rebel. 5 starts, 3 wins, had shown a lot of ability early on in the 3-year-old season, but after the dud in the Preakness went to the sidelines, has since moved into the barn of Brad Cox. Also has been working down at the fairgrounds for the return. Concert Tour, very interesting this afternoon to see how this one can kick off the 4-year-old season. Thomas Shelby, nice runner, nice stakes runner for stakes level runner, comes out of a stake last time for Robertino Diodoro. That one can be a player as well. The fun race, fun edition of the 5th season. In the 8th at Oaklawn, 9, 8, 5, and 1. And finally, race number 9 at Oaklawn on this Saturday afternoon. It is a state-bred optional claimer with a calendar money condition. 6 furlongs the trip. In the 9th, I have a 2, 12, 4, and 10. I'll put Mo Choctaw on top. Nice maiden debut victory against state-bred maiden claimers, but $50,000 claimers. So, you know, a little saltier bunch than maybe your typical maiden claimer. Subsequently, a nice bullet workout leading into this, so seems to be holding that very good form. We'll put Mo Choctaw on top. Second slot, Garhole on the outside, the number 12 horse. Couple of starts, nice improvement from start 1 to start 2 with a layoff from January of last year to December of last year. Off the layoff, did come back as one of those lightly raced but much improved horses and looked much better in the second start of the career, getting a nice win. Garhol, a player off of that one. And then Rubiginous in the third spot. Robertina Diodoro off the claim for M&M Racing. I think this one very intriguing off the claim for that group and fitting in with this bunch. A couple of lightly raced horses that seem primed off of their wins last time in Mochocton, Garhol. But again, Rubiginous and I'm a Bling Cat with some a little more experience under their belts, likely to be interesting players as well. In the ninth at Oaklawn, 2, 12, 4, and 10. That takes you through the Oaklawn card. Brian Nadeau a little bit earlier took a look at Gulfstream. Again, no Aqueduct today. They canceled because of the super chilly temperatures. They'll be back tomorrow with a carryover. Don't forget a carryover in the Pick 6 tomorrow at Aqueduct. But also don't forget, if you like the Pick 6 plays, today out at Santa Anita, mandatory pay in the Santa Anita Rainbow Six, and they're anticipating up to $4 million in their pool this afternoon. So keep that in mind for today. Again, thanks to Gulfstream for their sponsorship of this program, some of the other programming and events here at Capital OTB during the championship meet. We appreciate their support. I'm going to wrap it up. Top of the hour, though, racing across America. We will be joined by Ren Carruthers from Tampa. Nice group of stakes today down at Tampa, so we'll take a look at those. A little bit later on, Jason Blewett, West Point Thoroughbreds, and he also, it was announced yesterday, going to join Horse Player Now on their Buzz Report, do a little handicapping for them occasionally for the Buzz Report. So we'll talk to Jason about all of those topics coming up. Top of the hour, racing across America. Let's wrap it up for the Handicappers Report. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. We'll be back top of the hour with Racing Across America.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting.